Okay, Shalom. Okay, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Okay, double honors to our apostles of Great Millstone, our elders of GMS. Okay, and salutation and peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the children of Israel. Okay, the sincere laborers of the people of Negro, Latino, and Native American descent. All right, who's going to make up the elect that's going to get delivered and lifted up out of here. Okay, Israelite foreigners who Yahweh Shem Yahushua and scattered amongst the four corners of the earth, and they may live like the heathen nations, but have the spirit of an Israelite and are Israelites. Okay, so for a reason, U.S. military is prepared to face worse enemies, and I haven't read all of it yet, but one of the main reasons the people are weak, mentally weak, and everything is pretty much backwards and upside down. Women behaving themselves as if they're men, and even talking as if they're men, and in a lot of cases they're even taking on jobs that are just mainly meant for men to handle, but they find themselves on drugs and and stressed out, and at the same time on the job their bosses and foremen are pretty much being lenient on them and allowing them to remain in the spots which they shouldn't even have. And at the same time, the men have become pretty much like women, man, guiding the house, and a lot of them not working, a lot of them are on drugs, getting high constantly, and pretty much bound down to the woman, on all these foods and medications that are pretty much raising the estrogen level in the men, you know. Uh, and I'm sure that may have a little impact on the mind state of the men, but really, as the men are taking on feminine ways, literally taking on feminine ways. And as the scripture says, the men will be as women. There will be as women in that day. And here we are, especially being raised by these women without the father being around. They literally take on the customs of the woman. They literally take on the woman's emotional, her nature, So I had to add that in, which is part of the scriptures, which is I'm gonna go and get two of these scriptures, and mainly this main one is really the women just literally doing their own thing and not listening to the man. The scripture says, Yahweh has created a new thing. Jeremiah 31:22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth, a woman shall compass a man. Really disregarding the man's instructions, I'm going to the word shall compass. And they literally taking this to heart and they running with it, and then they find themselves destroying their communities. They're not seeing it and they're not connecting the dots, because the Most High Yahweh Shem Yahushua didn't impart to these women wisdom nor understanding. So they're seeing these things, and they're, in their hearts, they're blaming the men for it. Where again, they're the ones that's raising these kids, that's filing for a head of household. And I know this actual lesson is, I'm going into another topic, but I'm gonna get back to the reason why the military is so weak. But and this is going to head to that again. The word here,
Strong's H5437.
I don't know why that is so loud.
Savav.
Okay, to turn about or around or aside or back or towards, go about or around, surround and circle, change of direction, to turn. And all of us experiencing this and have experienced this with our the mother of our children, or just, or, if you ain't have children with her, a lot of our brothers' wives, man. And in a way, there's nothing you can do but accept it, really. Because if this was the ancient world, she'd get her ass cracked upside her head and put to death, or thrown out the house, period. But you on this side, dealing with these devils in this world, man, you have to do what you have to do to survive, and under a lot of circumstances, you just got to put up with it, man. Because you may be able to benefit very little, but it's better than benefiting none. It depends on the state of mind and how strong your mental state is, and if you're able to deal with these women, man. And just as far, and how do I say it, like what little benefit you have to you're pretending to just accept it, but in all reality you're not, but you're there just so you can benefit in some way. I see how a lot of brothers, it's best to have some shelter than no shelter, and but again, you have this word, and you have this word, and you have Yahweh Bashem Yahushua to lean on, to comfort you in these terrible times, especially dealing with these women, man. So get yourself out of position so you can live on your own, or live with other brothers or something. But this is the horror of it. This is one of the horrors, and with her turning her back, she's taking on the nature of a man, and now she's finding herself signing up for these armed forces, and like she's a man, not knowing and realizing you're putting yourself in that position of to fight. They're not thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to actually get out there on that battlefield or whatever, but they're thinking it's just so nice, and it's just as simple as, I'm just gonna sit on these battleships and I'm never gonna touch war. But Esau is relying on these women to step up, and he's making them step up. So back into this meaning here. Compass the man. Okay, to march or walk around. Go partly around, circle about, skirt, make a round, make a circle, go about, to surround, encompass, to turn oneself, close. It's explaining doing the opposite of, going against. When you continue reading these meanings, to turn about, change, transform, to encompass, surround, to assemble, to march, go about, to enclose, envelope, to turn, cause to turn back, reverse, bring over, turn into, bring about, to cause, go around, surround, encompass, to be turned, to be surrounded. Here we go. The primitive root to resolve, surround, or border, using various applications, literally and figuratively, bring, cast, fetch, lead, make, walk, whirl, run about, be about, on every side, apply, avoid, beset, besiege, bring again, carry, change, cause to come about, compass, on every side, beset, close, compass, go, stand, roundabout, enclose, remove, turn, sit down, turn, self, about, aside, away, and back. Let me do this as well. Where's she at? Let me go back to it. Meaning, like I said, to turn aside. I was going to look up compass. Let me do that anyway. Oxford. Did I spell it right? Compass, yeah. Go around. Pretty much go around, disregarding, pretty much. What does the compass symbolize? What is the full meaning of compass? What is the best meaning of compass? Advised by determining direction. Just as a compass has a small magnetic pin suspended with its head, so we as God's children have a still small voice suspended in our souls, guiding our way. Just as the compass allowed the pen to spin freely, so the Most High allows us to spin freely as well. That's not true. There ain't no free will. That's pretty much what they're trying to say, granting us the freedom of choice. No, that's not biblical at all. Not biblical at all. Free will. Compass implies a sometimes limited extent of perception, knowledge, or activity. So the scripture says, a woman shall compass a man. The Most High created a new thing on the earth. A woman shall compass a man. All right. So the U.S. military find themselves taking a lot of these fools on. It's going to be beautiful, man. Like I posted before, like I've said before, I'll be on the sidelines rooting for y'all women when y'all fighting in that World War III. I'll be rooting for y'all. I'll eating some popcorn. This place is done, man. It's decaying. It's decaying, you know. Isaiah 14. This place is decaying, man. I'm gonna go to that scripture as well. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall become as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be robbed. So the men's gonna be as women. But there's one more specific than that. Here is my Bible right here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I know it was Jeremiah. Let's remember, there's a lot of reasons that's playing in on these men that don't want to fight. And as the scripture says, you know, the mighty men of Babylon they're forborn to fight. Let me find this real quick. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is Isaiah. No, it's like a Jeremiah 49 and 22. Behold, he shall come up and fly as an eagle and spread his wings as over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom be as the heart of women in their pains. And it's going to be just like women. And that's when the Lord returns. You know, that's going to further put that spirit in them to be as women when the Lord returns, when they see that horrible sight. It's a horrible sight to them. But let me find another scripture here. Where did my pen go? Here we go. Okay, Okay, now here you go. Nahum 3:13. Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies. The fire shall devour the bars. There you go. This place, and as you see in it now, the gates of thy land shall be set wide open. You know, you see the millions of people that are coming across the borders. And there are no men there to stop them. Though they're pretty much rising up now, you know, and it's pushing, and it looks like it's pushing toward this place being coming to a head against each other, you know, a civil war. But let me get to this here. Let me get to this here. Let's start reading this here. For reading, U.S. military is prepared to face the worst enemy. And I just pretty much put in my understanding according to the scriptures, which they probably won't mention the state of the men and the state of the women. You know, the U.S. military is at risk of being unable to defend America's national interests against foes such as China, Russia, and Iran. And China, Russia, and Iran don't have women fighting in their military. You know, they may have women enlisted, but those women are enlisted to do women duties. Concludes the Heritage Foundation new index of U.S. military strength. This is an inevitable result of years of prolonged deployments, just like the ancient Roman Empire, where the soldiers were spread thin. Just same thing. Underfunding. What was the name of the Roman Empire currency? Oh man, it just escaped me. But it was devaluing itself less and less and less. Okay, poorly defined priorities, wildly shifting security policies, exceedingly poor discipline in program execution, and a profound lack of seriousness across the national security establishments, even as threats to U.S. interests have surged, the report says. The report titled Decade of Decline. Decade of Decline. Did I have Isaiah 14 up? Let me see. Here we go. And what did it say again? Decade of Decline. The need to restore America's military power. It ain't just the military. It's Babylon, period. You know, it's Babylon, period, that's declining. And hold on. I had to close some of these. At Isaiah 13, all Babylon, all judgment on Babylon. I might go into that too. Oh no, Slocky, that's not what I wanted to do. How did it know I was going to hit that up? This is weird. Is this tablet reading my mind? The beast, the miracle of the dragon and the beast. Overall, American infrastructure earned a C- in 2021. Yeah, I remember the grade before that, it was at a D plus or a D-. So C+, which that's probably manipulated, you know. The bottom end of average, but out of the D range for the first time in 20 years. See, it was at a D. It still is, you know. It's probably at a level of failing, but they'll never come out with the truth. So just showing you this place is on a decline. It's decaying, yet when you look at the scores individually, a bleak situation looks bleaker. Transit earned a lone D-, but dams, levees, roads, and stormwater systems all got D's. So this is just the eerie sign. The military, men not wanting to join the military. It's yet less and less, more and more men are declining to enlist. That's just a sign of the nation itself. So what did it say again? It's like the report titled "Decade of Decline: The Need to Restore America's Military Power." It's the 10th edition of the Index of U.S. Military Strength Heritage. It began issuing the annual assessment in 2015 as a report card of sorts for the state of military power and readiness. What do we do to answer 10 years of decline? Senator Roger Wicker, the ranking member of the Senate Armed Service Committee, asked during remarks Wednesday about the Index and Heritage Capitol Hill headquarters as a possible answer. Wicker cited the former President Ronald Reagan called to spend 5% of the nation and defense budget by 3 to 5%. I do not think it's enough. And they are investing $1 trillion a year, if not a little more. And that still is not. Well, again, the money is worthless anyway, and it's less of value anyway. So the Michigan Governor said he worries that lawmakers in Congress are complacent. We are now living in the most dangerous moment since World War II. Like I said, people call in the Cold War II, call it the Cold War. We need to be reminded of that. Is it going to get into any information? Heritage Foundation President Kevin Roberts thanked Wicker and other lawmakers, but in his own remarks said Congress has failed the American people. We don't celebrate that, but we are willing to highlight it so that this change, Roberts said. Our military is weak and unprepared for conflict, he said, adding later, it's bad news that comes from an utter lack of innovation and utter lack of willingness. For who? You see, innovation and lack of willingness. The mighty men of Babylon. Jeremiah, why I keep thinking it's in Isaiah? Jeremiah 51:30. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might have failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. There's another scripture. They have become as women. Of course they have. Alphabet community on the down low. It's coming out more and more that the majority of these men here, they like the same sex, whether they admit it or not. That's the spirit of this place, man. So going to that here. Therefore born. They refuse or come on. To stop, cease, desist, and forego, cease to be, leave undone, forbear. To cease, come to an end, and then leave off, to cease. And as if they're really waking up to unrighteousness. No, they don't want to fight because they don't want to get blown to bits, They're no longer in that manly spirit, Again, they're too busy here in that spirit of feeding their lust and drugs and alcohol and adultery, And another thing, trusted in the gun. The U.S. military thing is so large that, They think it's just as simple as just driving around in a vehicle or a tank or a military vehicle, a Humvee, or floating around on their battleships and aircraft carriers, and and they never ever really, in all reality, never had a formidable foe to fight against, like Russia or like China or like Iran. They've always fought these nations that literally don't have an air force and a navy, a Marines, or whatever. You like they like it. A lot of those former soldiers like MacArthur and Scott Ritter. They even said that we never fought real soldiers. We've pretty much are fighting men running around in dresses and with I forgot. Did they name a farming? No, they may have said with AKs or whatever. You can't fight missiles and warplanes with those things. But anyway, yeah. Amateur of the week. And unprepared of conflict, he said, adding later, it's bad news that comes from an utter lack of innovation and utter lack of willingness to make tough policy decisions, not just for the national defense, but across the entire federal budget. Heritage new report says China has the most comprehensive and daunting national security challenge to U.S. interests. The Chinese military can no longer be viewed as a distant competitor. China has begun to field indigenous aircraft carriers and advanced missile technology. It is rapidly expanding its nuclear arsenal and conducting live fire exercises and mock blockage around Taiwan. You see, have these have become as weak as we? If current trends persist, the gap between the Chinese and U.S. militaries will likely narrow further. And the idea that China might surpass U.S. capabilities in some fields will seem far less implausible. They already have a bigger Navy than the U.S. now. And they're growing on every end. But then the scriptures speak of Asia as well, been trying to be like the whore. And trying to follow after the whore in all her ways. That's what China's doing. Following after America in all her ways. But we're going to know that China's capacity to build warships is 230 times that of America. $232 times that of America. Here we go with Russia, the U.S. decline. The U.S. decision to shoulder a large burden to defend Ukraine against Russia contribute to the decline of the military. And they gave all a lot of the military hardware to Ukraine, and Russia destroyed it. America doesn't have the capacity to build back that fast. It's where Russia is on all cylinders with support from with outside of the country as well. Russia is in no danger of coming short on anything that they need. But America is. In 2023, this has been compounded by the cost of U.S. support of Ukraine's defense against Russia's assault, which is further exacerbated by the limited willingness of allies in Europe to shoulder a greater share of the burden, it says. So it's taken on too much that it can't handle. And there's some good stuff here. The report says Russia has a hostile with a formidable capability. So let's go into this real quick. It's Isaiah the 14th chapter, 14. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. Their pride. They're watching Russia expand. They're watching Russians have major success in Ukraine, which they pretty much have destroyed Ukraine. And what you're witnessing and what you're seeing, Ukraine has resorted to terrorist acts by shooting missiles at Russia's infrastructure, civilian infrastructures. That's all you're seeing, terrorist acts. So their pride has been, America's pride has been brought down. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of the vials, of thy vials. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. That's the representative the decay. This place is in a position of decaying, spiritually and physically and mentally, I might add. The people, like the scripture says about the mighty men of Babylon, are no longer coming to fight. So this place is in a complete, its pomp is in a complete, its pride is in a complete decline. This is beautiful, man, that we're, this is what the Most High want of his servants, the prophets, and the elect, is to be praying for this and hope for this, because this pleases the eyes of the Most High. Like it says, it's, what is it saying, Ecclesiasticus and Sirach, 9 things. There's 2 or 3 things in my heart that I like. Let me see if I can grab real quick. Here we go. This is there be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. And that's what we're living in. And that's what we're laboring for. The fall of our enemy. That's what these videos are for. That's why we go out on the highways and the byways. Pleasing the Most High. Prophesying the downfall of our enemy. And it's happening. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? Okay, so Isaiah 14:11, that's what I wanted. Let me see this here. Let me see. Punishment for wickedness foretold. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Also, thou son of man, thus said the Lord, power unto the land of Israel. An end is come, the end is come upon the 4 corners of the land. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. And my eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thy abominations shall be in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh. Thus said the Lord power, and evil and only evil, behold, is come. I just had to read that. The end is come, the end is come. It watches for thee. Behold, it is come. I just had to read that. That's pretty much what the decline of America means, the end. It means the end. And this is some good reading here, this whole thing, this whole Ezekiel 7. Let me get to my point, though. Ezekiel 7:14, they have blown the trumpet, even to make all ready, but none goeth to the battle, for my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. The sword is without, and pestilence, and the famine within. He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him. But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valley. All of them mourning, every one for his iniquity. All hands shall be feeble, all knees shall be weak as water. They shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all their heads. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. You know, that's the decline, like hyperinflation, where the money is usually going to become worthless. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. See, before where they were able to rely on their gold and their silver and their arms, now all that is failing. As for the beauty of his ornament, he set it in majesty, but they made the image of their abominations and of their detestable things therein. Therefore have I set it far from them. And I will give into the hands of the strangers for a prey, and to the wicked the earth for a spoil, and they shall pollute it. Okay, and my face I will turn also from them, and they shall pollute my secret place, for the robbers shall enter into it and defile it. Make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence. Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. Invasion. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled. More is mentioned their pride again. Their pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. Again, like there's a scripture that says, thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, blood shall pursue thee. And this is what's coming upon this place. Mischief shall come upon mischief, and rumor shall be upon rumor. Then shall they seek a vision of the prophet, but the law shall perish from the priest, and the counsel from the ancient. The king shall mourn, and the princes shall be clothed with desolation, in the hands of the people of the land shall be troubled. I will do unto them after their way, and according to their deserts will I judge them, and they shall know that I am the Lord. All right, let me do this here. Come on. Let's see what this has here. Here we go, 51 and 8. For the moth shall eat them up like a garment, and the worm shall eat them like wool. But my righteousness shall be forever, and my salvation from generation to generation. The moth again. This place is in decline. And moth, a moth will eat through your clothing. You know. For the moth shall eat them up like a garment. There's going to be holes all in your garment, all in your clothing from the moth. And the worm again, the worm again, shall eat them. The worm and the moth. Why is it saying the worm and the moth? Where I know a moth is a worm, is in like a caterpillar worm form before it turns into a moth. The worm, the worm. Moth is Osh. I thought fire was Osh. The moth is, the worm is sauce. It says the worm moth from the same as the word swallow swift horse. Like the wool, but my righteousness. So this place is in a slow decline. It's slowly deteriorating. That's why the military is weak. It's from within. The problem is from within. And it may have started through political means, like what they're trying to go into, like they're mentioning. But but you have to look at it more in a spiritual eye. This place is declining, because of the people in their practices, in their ungodly practices. They're gluttonous, they unhealthy. Sorry, Salakia for making this drag on, but again, like I said before, this is what I do for my spirit. I keep it going. The military has a problem with the accountability of its leaders, said retired Army Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, who was National Security Advisor to Vice President Pence and Chief of Staff for the National Security Council during the Trump administration. We need to really look at our leadership and the amount of leadership we have and what they are really doing, Kellogg said. I'll give you one simple word: accountability. What is accountability? We lost a 20-year war in Afghanistan. Who was held accountable for all the mistakes we made in the military? We have made them. We just haven't owned up to them. So, make sure I didn't miss anything here. I got Ezekiel there. Yeah, I go to Jeremiah. Okay, this should be Isaiah 13. I was in Isaiah 14 before, or 13. Lift up a banner on the high mountain, upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for my anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of the multitude in the mountains, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Lord of hosts mustered the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Thermonuclear missiles. And this place has no defense, which they call it a shield act. I'm not sure if they call it the shield act. this place has no defense. They may have defense systems protecting NORAD, but the whole of Babylon, nah, they don't. Besides, the scripture says, one shall not strike another. How ye for the day of the Lord is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid. Pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the days of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. This reminds me of 2 Ezra 15 something. Let me see if I can get it. See if I can find it real quick. Let me just pull it up here. Okay, 15:1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. All these prophecies, it's mainly the downfall of the whore, the destruction of Babylon. Amos 9:8, behold, the eyes of the Lord power are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy from off the face of the earth. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. Scoffers and all the fools, the non-believers, and for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. And let me add this: their works, which is has polluted the world, and it's mainly Babylon here. Its wickedness has polluted Babylon, and it's to the point that it's decaying. Because it's living unlawfully. It's living lawlessly. It's living lawlessly without laws. So, and all its works is against being upright and being lawful. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hopeful works are fulfilled. In this polluted place, Babylon, which the scripture says, I can't even quote it, Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots and filth, abominations. Here, let me get it. Is it 18, 19? And upon their forehead was written the name Mystery Babylon, Babylon the Great, the mother of the harlots and abominations of the earth. And the nations have followed after Mystery Babylon, the mother of harlots and filthiness, and the world has followed after the works of Babylon. Polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore, it's thus said the Lord. And that's why the earth is mourning. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Which profanely commit works that are outside of the temple. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Okay. So Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua is bringing this place down, through all their means, through their currency, their money, the economy, period, through their politics, you know. He's destroying the spiritual side of Babylon, which is wickedness. He's hitting this place where it hurts the most. And he's hitting it on all cylinders, on all corners, man. And therefore, thus said the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from amongst them. From among them, behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. You know, the works of this devil, you know, his deceitful works. Jake is being led to the slaughter. You know, and they're foolish enough to trust this devil when the scripture says, never trust thine enemy. And these fools that are led as a flock to the slaughter are trusting in the enemy, lining up with their hands out, with their arm out. Dumbasses. I will not suffer them to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. And if you read in Exodus, the account with Moses dealing with Pharaoh, they went through a series of events, this place Egypt being plagued. Then what ultimately happened was then Egypt was ultimately destroyed, Pharaoh and his army, which that's called the word is escaping me. Gradualism. And that's how this place is going down. And I will smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn in the foundation. The people are mourning now. You know, they're mourning now. And they don't know what the hell to do. They don't know who to trust. You know they can't trust they don't know who to trust but Donald Trump. And the foundations of it shall be smitten with the plagues, with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. So, Shalom.